This was energetic as fuck. The Prom is a new Netflix original movie directed by Ryan Murphy, who wrote Scream Queens, Glee, and American Horror Story. Anytime his name's attached to a project, I am all goddamn in. Hell of an ensemble cast here. Meryl Streep, James Corden, Nicole Kidman, Kerry Washington in a terrific role. More on her in a little bit. Tracy Ullman, Ariana DeBose, who was great in the ensemble in Hamilton, one of my favorite movies of the year. Keegan-Michael Key, who's had an interesting 2020 to say the least. Andrew Rannells, and newcomer Joe Ellen Pellman, who is the main character and the main focal point here and does a really good job in her first big starring role. And it's based on the popular Broadway musical by Chad Begulin, Bob Martin, and Matthew Schuyler. And Chad and Bob actually wrote the screenplay, so you could tell there was a lot of input from them. And anytime you get the creators involved and you get this kind of cast, it's hard to beat it. Now, did I really like this movie? You're fucking goddamn right I did. This is one of my favorite movies of the year. It's right up there with Hamilton. The energy is fucking great. You can definitely tell that, the writer of Glee had something to do with this because this was very Glee-like. Now, Glee, I'm not the biggest fan of Glee, but I did appreciate some of it. I thought it went on a bit too long, but the energy and the life lessons and the stuff it dealt with, I thought they dealt with it in a really, really good way. And the cast, even though there were a few changes here and there, was really goddamn good in the best way to present these, issues. And the thing about this movie, and I'll get into spoilers here in a little bit, is it's focused around the, small conservative city or town of Edgewater, Indiana, that basically doesn't want to accept Emma, who is a lesbian, taking her girlfriend to the prom. So they decide to just cancel the prom. Because rather than include somebody for just being who they are, hey, let's, go against the grain and be bigots and be idiots and not just accept two people, who are, the consenting age is two teenagers. I mean, I'm just saying, it is two high school teenagers who just want to be loved for who they are. And Emma's disappointed, and I mean, who the fuck wouldn't be disappointed? She just wants to be accepted for who she is. And her girlfriend is played by Ariana DeBose, who in a terrific role as Alyssa. And the thing is, not only is it a gay relationship, but an interracial gay relationship. So, oh no, everybody's minds are exploding. Well, only the bigots and the idiots. I do want to say right now that, yes, this movie does beat you over the head with the whole, it's like, oh, gay people are bad because, the Bible says so. But gay people are good because they are who they are. Both those themes, you get hit, over your head constantly. But also not in the worst way possible. Now, I was not sure how I was going to feel when I first saw the cast, because I'm not a big fan of James Corden. I'm just not. He's entertaining enough. He has talent. I just don't necessarily care for what he does. I just don't think his brand of comedy always works for me. But when I saw Kerry Washington, Nicole Kidman, and Meryl Streep in the same movie, I'm like, you son of a bitch, I'm fucking in. And I want to say right now that Joe Ellen Pellman, more of her in these movies. I can't wait to fucking see what else she does. She was fucking phenomenal. The whole cast was fucking phenomenal. And with this plot, spoilers here in a little bit, Kerry Washington plays the character of Miss Green, and yes, Alyssa is her daughter. Doesn't know that her daughter is gay, except maybe she does, and maybe she just doesn't want to accept it. But the funniest thing about this is, it's so obvious that she is, and, she's just fighting, her own bigotry. She's struggling with herself because she loves her daughter, but she doesn't want this prom to happen because it goes against her values. And yes, the musical numbers, I don't even think it takes 5 minutes before a musical number starts. And the musical numbers are all well done, well choreographed, well performed. Meryl Streep, Nicole Kidman, who's fucking ageless, but Nicole Kidman's 53 and looks goddamn great. And even Corden played his role well here and actually has a good layered character. This certainly is better than what he did in Cats. Hell, it's better than anything that happened in Cats. Cats is terrible. Don't ever fucking watch the film version, at least. Don't. And you can polish up the special effects all you want. It's still not any fucking good. But anyway, Keegan-Michael Key plays a principal who's fighting against this because he just wants an inclusive prom. He doesn't want people... He wants people to change how they feel just because somebody, happens to be gay doesn't mean that they're any lesser of a human being. And there's people on both sides, and you kind of get it where, we're raised this way so we don't accept gay people, except that's kind of wrong. And I say that as somebody, and this is where I'm just going to go off on a brief tangent. I'm not going to get into it because I've done a video about this. Kerry Washington's character and how she felt and the amount of hate and bigotry she had reminded me of how I was until about my teenage years. Because I hated gay people. Hate them. Absolutely hate them. I don't hate them now. Not one bit. They are people are who they are. Whether you're whatever part of the LGBTQ community you are, it's inclusive. You need to be who you are, celebrate who you are. That's what it comes down to. But I was really fucking hateful, and a lot of this shit, hit home for me. And I'm glad I changed. And all you guys can change if you feel otherwise. It doesn't hurt, caring about gay people. Seriously. What are they doing that's so harmful by being who they are? Now, the idea of doing a 2+ hour musical, though I think it was like 2 hours, 2 minutes before the credits started, I was a little worried about that because I did have complaints about Jingle Jangle, A Christmas Story, which Keegan-Michael Key was also in. The acting wasn't bad. That one drug on a little bit because it was a family-oriented holiday movie. In this one, it goes right from Kerry Washington canceling the prom all the way to like where there's this Broadway trio of, Meryl Streep, Dee Allen, Barry Glickman, James Corden, and Angie Dickinson, that is, Nicole Kidman, kind of down on their luck after a play doesn't go all that well, and they decide after seeing this on Twitter, hey, we're going to gain some celebrity and become activists and help out this girl, Emma. Help her have a prom, help her have this. And they have their friend Trent come along. And Andrew Rannells, who I've seen in other movies but I just can't place right now, is really good in this. And it's just very, very well done. It's very well paced. There are some romances and stuff like that, and it's about accepting who you are and needing to come out, and be who you are. And actually, it kind of reminded me a bit of Happiest Season, where, one was totally out and proud, and one didn't want to tell her parents. So it's like a bit of similarity there. And that kind of gave me, that was actually a really good movie as well. Check that out on Hulu. But, there's the usual, this part doesn't work out, but these characters grow as people and people can start accepting who they are. There's song and dance and interpretation and stuff like that. And really what it comes down to is the whole cast is great, but Kerry Washington, just so fucking bad they're so great as a bitch. You just want to slap her. Like, you just really want to fucking slap her. Meryl Streep wasn't, no peach either because she had her own, agenda. But Nicole Kidman was fucking great. I didn't know how I felt about a certain romance and between two of the characters that, two of the non-gay characters, that is, I should say. And I think you know what I'm talking about. But overall, from beginning to end, fucking energetic. Music's goddamn phenomenal. Everything is really goddamn good in this. It's fucking great. Check this shit out, especially if you're a fan of musicals. It's goddamn great. Now I'm going to get spoilers, though. So, 3, 2, 1, and go. Basically, after this prom gets canceled, Emma is struggling with this because she just wants to be accepted for who she is. And then you have the musical trio that arrives, along with Trent, so it's a quartet. And they're trying to adjust to the small town life. Eventually, their plan gets found out. Dee Dee, Meryl Streep, and Keegan-Michael Key have a bit of a romance, which was a bit weird. I think just because of the age difference. I would think that just the same if Keegan-Michael Key was the same age as Meryl Streep. But they made it work. It's like if the ages are reversed or the genders are reversed. But it still worked because it wasn't done in a hit you over the head way. And once again, I have to praise Jo Ellen Pellman as Emma. I can't praise her enough. She is going to be a goddamn star. This was really, really fucking good. Really great performance by her. And the character of Alyssa, Ariana DeBose, she was really good as well. Give her a starring role. Can't wait to see what she does. I gotta praise this cast quite a bit. There's the breakup song because Emma wants her to, you can't force somebody to be out. They have to come out when they are, or when they're ready. But Emma, breaks up with her because she's like, well, if you can't tell your mother, and, this thing with this prom earlier, they had 2 proms. They had one prom with everybody else and then a gay prom for Emma. But Emma was all alone because she was isolated because people had just basically shunned her. Even though there are people that come around to her side, yeah, she wasn't very happy with her girlfriend and broke up with her. But then things, things come back together. Meryl Streep has to come to grips with the fact that it's not just all about her. She has to do more than just do stuff and expect something in return. And the principal, Keegan-Michael Key, helps her see that. And then there's Barry, James Corden, who has to who basically left his parents when he came out at 16 because otherwise they were going to kick him out of the house. So he identifies with Emma, who also had her parents kick her out when she was 16. The grandmother who accepts her takes care of her, accepts her who she is, as any grandparent should. There's a difference between accepting if, your children have committed crimes, you shouldn't do that, you should turn them in. And if your child just turns out to be gay, who the fuck cares? Love them for who they are. Corden and Pellman actually have a really good on-screen chemistry, and everything is really goddamn good here. There's some good songs. Love Thy Neighbor trumps them all, which is pretty damn good. Some really, really good songs here. Actually, there really isn't a weak song in this, which reminds me a lot of Hamilton. And then there's excuse me, Alyssa, I almost said Ariana. Alyssa coming out to her mom basically saying, hey, there's this prom being held by all the actors. They pulled their money together to have a prom. And Emma had done a song to basically, come out on the internet. And so many others sent their messages back, just, LGBTQ, didn't matter, what part. They were all out and proud, and they were just happy that Emma did that. So they all got invited to the prom. It was a whole big celebration and everything. And it was really goddamn good. It was really goddamn good. Even great. It was really fucking great. And after, Alyssa comes out to her mom, she's like, well, and she leaves because, she doesn't know, she's just fractured by this, even though I think she knew. She comes back a few minutes later and is like, we'll talk about this, but yeah, I feel the way I do, but I love you more. The kid. So it was good. It was good shit. And Barry got to reunite with his mom at one point a little earlier in the movie. It was really good shit. Okay, is it sappy? Yes. Is it a musical? Is it ridiculous? Yes. Does it hit you over the head with themes? Yes. But you know what? It was fucking phenomenal. A+. A+. One of my favorite movies of the year. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.